Like, comment, and subscribe for more content. What is going on, guys? So, this year is officially coming to a close. This year flew by, like seriously, right? And I played a lot of games, a lot of good games. And I decided that I wanted to do something special this year. So I decided to make a top 5 list. So these are my top 5 games of 2022. Let's get to it. Alright, so the first game on my list is a game that came out last year, technically, right? So, like, I know, not a strong start to this top 5 list, but it's Inscryption, right? So, Inscryption, this year it was ported to PS5, right? And I heard a lot of good things about this game, right? A lot of people were saying things like, oh, this game will blow your mind, it's insane. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. And man, dude, this game is insane, man. I don't want to spoil anything, right? But it's basically like a tabletop card game, right? Kind of like Hearthstone. And you're basically moving around this board game, but that's not even the game, right? You're actually controlling the character that's playing the board game. And at certain sections of the game, you can get up and see where you're at, right? And you're actually trapped in this cabin by this crazy dude, right? So in between playing this board game, you can get up and try to find ways to escape this cabin. That's not even the big spoiler, right? There's all kinds of extra spoilers in this game, right? And without giving away too much, I'm a guy that likes horror. I like a lot of scary things. Resident Evil is one of my favorite series. One of the scariest things in games, to me, is when the game itself starts affecting me sitting on the couch, right? Like having a puzzle in the pause menu. Shit like that scares me, right? Inscryption, I almost called it Inception. Inscryption is all of that, right? And because of that, I had to put it on my top 5 list, right? It deserves that number 5 spot, right? Man, I can't wait to play it again. Alright, so coming in at number 4 is actually another indie game. Surprisingly, dude, the indies they came out swinging this year, man. Dude, the indies just, for some reason, they hit for me. But number 4 is Cult of the Lamb. Okay? And this game was made to be successful. This game is Animal Crossing meets Hades meets Stardew Valley. Okay? Like, it was predestined to be a good game. Okay? I love these types of games, man. I love Animal Crossing. You know what? I take that back. I'm gonna walk back that statement. I don't usually like these types of games. I like Animal Crossing though. And Hades really got me into the roguelike genre, right? After Hades, I went and played Returnal, right, which was one of my favorite games last year. So, dude, the roguelike genre, it's really growing on me. And Cult of the Lamb is it's awesome, right? Like just building your own little cult of cute furry creatures to do your bidding as you go out and slaughter in the name of your god. It's amazing. It's great. So I don't even know what else to say, man. Cult of the Lamb is just a good game. If you like any of those types of games, right? Farming simulators, Animal Crossing, whatever you want to call that, roguelikes like Hades, go and play Cult of the Lamb, dude. It is totally worth it. Man, oh man. You know what I like? Pokemon. And dude, there was a lot of Pokemon stuff this year. I mean, well, not really, but it felt like there was, right? So for my number 3 spot, I had to make a tough decision, right? Between Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, right? Which I'm still playing right now as we speak. It's booted up right next to me.
How little he is.
I know he's a little guy.
But his head is
Now he's a big guy. Look at him, yeah!
He's the same little guy, but he's wearing armor that's too big for him.
Oh, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. I love her. And also Pokemon Legends Arceus, right? And despite my love for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it is buggy. It is a mess. It's a lot of fun though. But I think Pokemon Legends Arceus is a better game, right? Pokemon Legends Arceus. First of all, they should have a shorter name. But that game was crazy, right? I think about it every once in a while since I beat it. Just the tone of the game, it's unlike any Pokemon game they've put out. Well, I mean, maybe Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon like Gale of Darkness, right? Those games came out years ago, a long ass time ago. The tone is similar to those games. It feels a little bit more adult, right? I like how Legends Arceus, they just kind of just throw you out there, right? They're like, here's your objective, catch 5 things, there you go. You're out in the wild, right? I love that. It's a lot of fun. Am I going to go back to this game? I don't think so. I think 1 was good enough, but it was an experience that will stay with me forever, I think. Here we go. Number 2. This was a tough choice for me, right? And I'm pretty sure it was a tough choice for all of us this year because there were 2 games this year, man, they were neck and neck, right? My number 2 is God of War. Specifically God of War Ragnarok, right? I gotta put respect on the name. I gotta say the whole name. This game was incredible. Dude, I beat this game and I've thought about it every night since I've beaten it. That's how good this game was. You know a game is good when it sticks with you for days, sometimes even weeks and months on end, right? The first God of War was a masterpiece. This game, God of War Ragnarok, it's just more of the first game, right? But just better in every way, right? So it's more of a masterpiece than the first one was, right? Dude, even the villains in this game are incredible. I'm trying not to spoil too much, but dude, characters like Thor, characters like Odin, dude, they're so layered, man. At some points, I felt like I was watching like Norse Sopranos or some crazy shit like that. Okay? That's how multifaceted and multi-dimensional these characters are, right? The boy, Atreus, he does get on your nerves a little bit, but you know, come on. It's a coming of age story. He really does step into his father's shoes, so that's cool. But Kratos, man. Whoo, man. Dude, Kratos and Thor, that's like, man, that's all this thing was for me, right? Just seeing Kratos and Thor fight each other, dude, every time they clashed, mwah, chef's kiss, amazing. There's this point in the first fight where Kratos throws his axe, Thor throws his hammer, and they freeze a lightning bolt just like in place, and it's there for the rest of the fight. Dude, it is so sick, man. So sick. So, with all that being said, I didn't have any problems with God of War Ragnarok. Like, the only reason why it's number 2 and not number 1 is just that I happen to like my number 1 choice even more, right? And with me saying that, you guys can probably already guess what my number 1 is. Okay. So, you've made it all the way to the end of the video. Thank you for watching, by the way. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, do all that cool stuff. And you guys probably already know what number 1 is, right? Everyone knows what number 1 is. And if you don't know, you should know, because, dude, it's Elden Ring. Of course it's Elden Ring, guys. Listen, every once in a while, there comes a game that's not just game of the year, but it's like game of the decade, right? And I say that, and I'm trying not to be dramatic, right? Because that sounds dramatic. So, you know, I'm just gonna gush, okay? Because this game, dude, I played it almost a year ago. Remember when I was talking about God of War, and I said sometimes games stick with you? Dude, Elden Ring. This is some shit I'm gonna be telling my grandkids about, okay? Do you guys remember the first time you fought Radahn, right? And you get him down to half health, and then he just jumps into the air, and you're like, oh, that's weird. I guess the boss fight's over. Then psych, and he comes down from space like a meteor, and he kills your ass. Do you remember that? Do you remember when you fight Malekith, right? And he's like the old raggedy beast clergyman, right? Then you start beating his ass, and then he stops and he transforms into this like Grim Reaper Wolfman. Do you remember that shit? That shit was insane. Do you remember, man, do you remember finding the singing bats for the first time? Right? I remember just going on my adventure, just doing my thing, and I hear this voice, I hear this song, and it's the most beautiful voice I've ever heard. I'm like, oh my God, who is singing that masterpiece? I need to know who's singing the song. And I turn the corner, and it's an ugly, crazy bat lady. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember getting like towards the end of the game, and like you discover who the Omen King is, and it's just Margit again, and he's back because he wasn't happy with beating your ass the first 20 times, right? And he reveals that he's King Morgoth, and he's here to beat your ass 20 more times, right? But it's the end of the game, so you're prepared and you whoop his ass. Do you remember how good that felt? Man, dude, that's just stuff off the top of my dome, okay? Very few games will leave you with an emotional just attachment to the world and the game itself, like Elden Ring. And it's funny, because Elden Ring's not even my favorite FromSoft game. My favorite FromSoft game is Bloodborne, okay? I think Bloodborne is their magnum opus. But Elden Ring, dude, this is a special game, guys. This has to be at least one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. I think it deserves a spot up there. And I think it deserves to be my number one game of the year as well. So, I know, surprise, right? Big shocker that it was Elden Ring, right? But it deserves it, man. Elden Ring is a good-ass game, dude. If you have not played Elden Ring yet, dude, what are you waiting for? Go play that game. Do you remember when the dragon, like, just at the beginning of the game, there's like a camp of like just random dudes. They're just having a good time, camping, surrounded by a bonfire, or surrounding a bonfire. And then out of nowhere, a dragon fucking, it flies in and swoops in and kills all of them. For no reason. Just because, right? Do you remember finding the Windmill Village for the first time? Right, you're just on your adventure doing your thing, and you find this village just filled with dancing crazy old ladies, and they're just having a good time dancing and smiling, and then out of nowhere they just start trying to kill you. Do you remember that? Do you remember the Godskin duo and how horrible they were? Oh my God, man. Anyway, I could go on for hours. I'm not going to, but I could. So that's the video, guys. This was a lot of fun to make. I felt like I needed to make one of these videos. This is my first official year of making content on YouTube, and it's been a blast. All you guys that have, that's subbed and, supported me, I truly appreciate it. You guys are the best. And I'll be back next year with more nonsense, more news, more leaks, and more just random videos I feel like making. But until then, guys, I will catch you guys later. Peace.